Is Trump in a better position in this election compared to 2020? I believe he is. This is a great video from Wake Up with Linda. Follow her on IG. She breaks down some great points, and we're going to react to it right now. Check it out.
Hey guys, so I've gotten this question a million times. Do I believe that Donald Trump can win the 2024 election? The short answer is yes, but I want to talk about why he's in a much better position, or we are in a much better position today than in 2020. And a lot of the stuff that I'm going to talk to you guys about actually comes from this article that was published by Time Magazine in February of 2021, only a few months after Joe Biden was declared the winner of the 2020 presidential election. The article is called "The Secret History of the Shadow Campaign That Saved the 2020 Election." It is a 35-minute read. If you want to search it, it's on Time Magazine and read it on your own. So I'm going to summarize the main points that are said in this article because it literally details, okay, what the Democrats did and the deep state did to get rid of Donald Trump. And a lot of the things that are said are really relevant to where we are today, a few days before the 2024 election, November 5th. The other thing is that I want people to be encouraged to vote. There's a lot of apathy right now. There's been all these psychological operations for the past few months to get people to not show up to the polls because it's a rigged system. They're going to steal it again. Your vote doesn't matter. It's a two-party system. But I'm going to tell you that the Democrats would have not gone to the lens that they did in 2020 if your vote didn't matter.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, y'all. Like, if your vote didn't matter, these people wouldn't try to. I got to be careful here on YouTube and other platforms, but she's right about that, y'all. Your vote, I do believe it matters. And to be completely honest, especially locally, okay?
First thing that I want you to think about and keep in the back of your head is that the Democrats had to do all this and more in able to secure the 2020 election and barely win because the votes that they found right after the counting was done in Arizona and states like Georgia, razor thin margins. In Georgia, Trump only lost by less than 13,000 votes. In Arizona, was even less than that. It was about 10,460 something votes, if I'm not mistaken. So they had to do a lot in able to secure this election, right? Also, COVID was the main factor behind mail-in ballots, right? People were scared. They knew they were going to target Democrats, but also they needed to influence people into believing that mail-in voting was a safe method of voting. They talk about in the article how traditionally people, especially African Americans, they mention them here, they don't trust mail-in ballots, and so they had to spend millions of dollars, right, in advertising on media to get people brainwashed enough to trust the process. So let's start off with the first conclusion, okay? The election was decided in mail-in voting, and mostly because of COVID, that's why it was pushed. We don't have that anymore.
Nope.
That's gone. There's no pandemic. People are going to mail and vote, but the percentage of Americans who are going to vote by mail has significantly dropped from 2020.
That's a big deal. We all know that, y'all. The Rona happened, the biggest pandemic in history, and they had the mail-in ballot. So that's not, that's not happening in this election, should I say. That's not a factor.
Democrats are still beating Republicans in early voting, but that has always been the case, as most Republicans like to vote on election day.
But there is numbers out that Republicans have come out in massive numbers to early vote.
Now, I want to draw attention to this paragraph because it's really important. And here they talk about how there was a conspiracy unfolding behind the scenes. And basically, it was like an informal alliance between left-wing activists and business giants. There was also some sort of like pact between the unions and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and all of the CEOs that turned against Trump and wanted him to concede. But the main reason why they wanted him to concede was because they believed if Trump was out of office, all of these racial protests that we saw and the violence and the uprisings that we saw in the summer of 2020, it would completely go away. We don't have that anymore. We didn't have a George Floyd moment.
Yep. No Rona, no George Floyd moment, to bring out the scumbags tearing apart the cities and, making a big racial divide. So those are two things that we don't have that we had in 2020. Keep that in mind.
Closest thing that we had to that was the Antifa stuff after the Roe v. Wade was overturned. Because we were under a state of emergency and the COVID pandemic was going on, Democrats had to change or help change voting systems and laws in order to rig the election. They recruited armies of poll watchers. Millions of people voted by mail for the first time. There was a lot of social media censorship, which is what I want you guys to remember, that we are in a completely different era with social media right now, thanks to Elon Musk, who bought X or Twitter, and not only freed a bunch of us, myself included, Donald Trump, DC Drano was also in jail. So many conservatives were banned on X back in 2019, 2020, 2021, and thereafter until Elon Musk came back. So now X is the biggest source for political discourse, for breaking news. Instagram is not a popular app anymore. They're trying to. It was actually the most deleted app last year.
Yep.
So they want us to come back. As you guys know, Mark Zuckerberg was also an asset of the 2020 election, donated over $300 million to help secure elections in different local counties. They mentioned him here. He's no longer doing that. He's identified as a libertarian and, pretty much wanted to abstain from this election.
Good point. And I covered that. Mark Zuckerberg's riding a wave, riding a surfboard, drinking a beer, something with the American flag. People are pissed. He's put us in Facebook jail many times. He demonetized people like me, took my page, didn't take my page down, just kind of harassed me on Facebook. I made a lot of money on Facebook, I'm not going to lie, but it's not like that now, right? Twitter, X, that is the place. She's right. That's where I go to get all the political info. You're not going to get it on, YouTube's all right, I kind of guess, but Facebook and Instagram, you're not going to get there. That's secondhand knowledge. Twitter is where it's at, and there's a bunch of good info, and I'm grateful that Elon Musk bought Twitter, and man, I think that is going to help us out in the long run because we're not being censored as badly.
And also apologize for censoring people back during the pandemic. The article is a lot longer than that, but I just wanted to give you guys a perspective of how much better we are today than we were in 2020. And to make sure that you guys see that if Democrats are chasing ballots, it's because your vote matters. It does. And a lot of these psychological operations online are meant to create apathy so that you don't show up to the polls.
Yep.
Right? If they can convince you that things are so bad or that your vote doesn't matter for whatever it is, then they win. It's that simple, right? So they had to do all this in 2020 to barely win. Donald Trump is in a much better position to take back the White House than he was in 2020. All you need to do is show up and vote so we can make it too big to rig. It's that simple.
Yep.
Hey guys.
Thank you. Wake Up with Linda. Y'all give her a follow on Instagram. That's the homie. So she's right, because a lot of people sit there and say, oh, our vote's not going to count, this, that, and the third, right? You know what? It's like Trump said. He don't want your money. He don't need your money. He just needs you to show up and vote. I'm feeling a lot better. I just dropped a video reacting to the depressed ginger. Check it out. Him breaking down the hopefully a red wave. If that's the best case scenario, there's other, conservative numbers. What I'm seeing is 312, Trump winning with the Electoral College map and possibly winning the popular vote as well. So again, I'm not trying to sit here and feed hopium to my crowd. I'm just showing you what I've seen and basically being honest about it. I think Trump has this. I think we're going to win. I think he might even win the popular vote. And I think Wake Up with Linda has some good points. We need to go out there and vote and don't let them sit there and keep you down with this mindset that our vote doesn't matter or that Kamala has it in the bag. She's a horrible candidate. My wife said it. Hillary Clinton was a better candidate than Kamala Harris, and I'll even say it further. I think Joe Biden was actually better than Kamala. With that, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments. I'm out of here.